At the beginning of this anime, we see Kelvin, who has just been reincarnated into this world. In his previous world, because of a mistake made by a goddess, he was killed. Now, after coming into this world, he forgets all his past memories. Right then, a menu appears in front of him and calls him My Lord. This menu tells him that before coming to this world, Kelvin had asked for all his memories to be erased. Hearing this, he is very shocked. Then, he checks his status and feels very happy. He thinks to himself, I think I was a really good gamer in my last world. Suddenly, he notices that his status shows he is a summoner. Now, the two of them start walking toward a town, and they go quite far. The menu asks him if he will come with it. The menu appears again, and Kelvin starts paying close attention to everything. Then, he suddenly realizes that the menu is actually the goddess herself. While talking, they arrive at a town. Kelvin says that the goddess's name is Melfina, and she is the reason he died before. He looks at his face, and Melfina tells him that she has given all her work to someone else, and that person will now handle everything. Melfina also says that in the last world, Kelvin told her he loved her. Here, Kelvin stands in a market thinking, why would I say I love her? After this, everyone starts noticing him, and he feels embarrassed and runs away. Then, he asks the goddess if he can summon her because he made a contract with her in the last world. But she refuses and says he doesn't have enough HP to summon her. In the next scene, Kelvin goes inside an adventure guild where many people are sitting with forms. He takes a form from the counter. When he tries to write summoner as his job, Melfina stops him. She tells him that being a summoner is very rare, and only one summoner exists in a kingdom. If people find out he is a summoner, many will become interested in him, and trouble will follow. So, Kelvin writes his class as Green Mage and submits the form. He thinks, as long as I am in this world, I want peace. Then a girl gives him a card that allows him to join the guild. He feels very happy. She tells him his rank is F, and that jobs are divided by rank in the guild. Now, she begins explaining all the different jobs to him. After that, Kelvin decides to take a job to kill 3 blue slimes, so that later he can make contracts with them. He sets off for his work holding a wooden stick that has a little magic in it. He enters the forest and sees the slimes in front of him. He hides behind a bush. Melfina tells him to use her appraisal eye to read the data of any enemy in front of him. Kelvin decides he will make contracts with all these slimes. Melfina says he must first defeat the slimes. She explains that monsters weaker than them must be attacked first to weaken them before making a contract. So, Kelvin must use his wooden stick to attack the slimes. When Kelvin moves forward to attack, the slimes dodge and attack him. Suddenly, the slime starts glowing and enters Kelvin's body on its own. They both decide to name the slime Cloto. Kelvin feels Cloto likes this name. He summons Cloto again. They decide to kill many slimes together. Kelvin tells Cloto to kill any slime, but leave their cores because he will need those later. Then we see a sunset scene where both lie down and watch their target. Kelvin says he will use green magic, and Cloto should finish the others. They attack the slimes. Kelvin uses wind magic to defeat one slime. Cloto kills another slime and absorbs it, getting stronger. Kelvin realizes why summoners are so important. All the slimes they have, even level 1, are very strong. After killing all 3 slimes, Kelvin returns to the guild and earns good money. Now, he is also set up for the night. When he goes outside, he notices some slaves locked in a cage. He thinks he still has open summon slots, so maybe he can buy them. The slave owner says one of them is a very rare elf. Everyone is shocked because elves never leave their villages. Despite hearing this, Kelvin ignores it and moves on. Now he enters an inn where the receptionist welcomes him. He asks for a room to stay one night. He goes to his room, which is quiet and meant for high-ranking people. Kelvin decides he will later live in a special house meant for him. He is happy to eat the first meal of this world. He thinks about Melfina and the elf, and says, I don't know how many dangerous enemies are waiting for me, but it doesn't matter because I have Melfina and that elf with me, and I am a summoner now. This is the start of his new life. After that, we see Kelvin and Cloto killing many monsters, which makes him level up. He gets 100 skill points. He chooses a skill called Concealment, which is level D. Cloto also gets an absorbing skill of rank F after leveling up. Kelvin returns to the guild, and the receptionist is happy because he is promoted to rank E. She asks him to form a party, but Kelvin refuses. He says if he joins a party, everyone will know he is a summoner. Melfina tells him people are suspicious of him. When Kelvin looks back, everyone is staring at him. The girl's name is Ange, and she tells Kelvin to take care of himself because now he has a D-rank job. Kelvin says not to worry because he runs very fast. He asks Ange for a D-rank job. Suddenly, a guy behind says, if you want a D-rank job, why don't you kill the Black Ghost Knight? The guy's name is Kaizel. Ange asks Kaizel about his job. Kaizel says he already finished it long ago because it was easy. After that, he stretches out his hand to shake hands with Kelvin and says, My name is Cashel, and I am a D-rank adventurer. The people sitting behind start talking, saying, this guy's not just a D-rank, he is even more powerful than a B-rank. He really enjoys defeating new players. Cashel then asks Kelvin to join his party, but Ange stops him, saying, don't do that. That Black Ghost Knight is very strong. Don't worry about this kid. We will help him. But Kelvin refuses to join their party. When he uses his appraisal skill, he realizes Cashel is very strong, just like Clotho. However, Kelvin gets shocked when he sees Cashel's title. It says Murderer. Both of them then decide who will kill the Black Ghost Knight first. After that, Cashel leaves and walks into an alley. Suddenly, a man appears in front of him, calling Cashel his boss. This man is tougher than what they had heard, and his name is Kelvin. Then another strong man shows up and says, I will be the one to kill Kelvin. Hey, calm down. Besides, he gave us a fair challenge, and we should welcome new kids because this kid is very brave. In the next scene, we see a castle where Cashel and his whole team arrive. As they enter, they notice many skeletons lying around, meaning someone else had come here before. Suddenly, Kelvin appears outside. Cashel realizes, oh, so he has this weapon. Is this a green mage? Even though Kelvin hides his powers, his weapon tells a lot about who he is. They start talking about how to defeat the Black Ghost Knight. Kelvin says, our competition was about who would defeat him first. Then he teases them. Then the big guy says, I think you are too weak to do it alone. That's why you were waiting for us. Kelvin replies, no, I will win this competition, and I don't want you to interfere in my fight. Then Kelvin starts exposing their secrets. The blue hair guy says, he already knew about our plans? Then Cashel says, I think you are after my team members and their bounties. Kelvin replies, no, I didn't know that, but if I get the chance, I will take them. I think this could be fun. Hey big guy, come fight me. Cashel tries to stop him. Don't go there. He is trying to provoke you, but he ignores and moves to attack Kelvin. Suddenly, his foot gets stuck in the ground. Kelvin says, it's my D-rank magic, Mudvine. Cashel released. Kelvin has not only used one magic trick, he is also using a concealment skill to hide this. The big guy struggles to get out, and Kelvin attacks him with wind magic, but the guy stops the attack with his hands. Seeing this, another team member runs away from there. Melfina tells him, you need to watch out for Cashel. Kelvin summons Clotho, and a summoning circle appears in front of the guy. Clotho appears, but this time it looks different. Kelvin says it has already evolved. It changed from blue slime to slime Clothonia. Then Clotho starts chasing the guy, who runs scared back into the room. Then there's a flashback showing Kelvin was hunting. He notices Clotho acting strangely. Melfina explains, Clotho is evolving, and now it has become slime Clothonia. The fight continues, and Clotho easily defeats the guy. Then Kelvin checks his stats and finds out that the guy is still alive. Using his strength, the big guy breaks free from the trap, but Clotho catches him again. Meanwhile, Cashel moves forward to attack Kelvin, but immediately falls to the ground with a swollen face. Kelvin hit him hard. Then Kelvin ties them up and goes to the door, saying, now it's time to go inside. When he opens the door, he sees the Black Ghost Knight standing there with level 53. Kelvin is happy to see him. The Black Ghost Knight asks, what do you want? Kelvin replies, I came here to defeat you, but now I'm thinking about making a contract with you. In the next scene, the Black Ghost Knight sits with Kelvin and says, everyone who came to me before attacked right away, but you are the first who wants to talk. Then he tells his story. He was once a knight who served a country but is now a monster. Kelvin feels sad hearing this. I came to fight you, but you are very polite. Kelvin offers to make a contract. The knight says, the country and king I served are gone, and I have to work for a new king. Do you want to see what I can do? Kelvin challenges him to a fight. They face each other. Kelvin uses his wind sword and Clotho attacks with him, but the knight easily blocks both. Melfina explains, Gerard has Mind's Eye, so these attacks won't affect him. Then Kelvin asks Clotho to attack Gerard, but Gerard dodges both attacks easily, means he is really powerful. Then Gerard attacks Kelvin with air pressure, but freezes himself and cannot move. After using this spell, Gerard could even die. Gerard says, give up, but I won't, because I want revenge for my love. There is a flashback where Gerard was a knight for a country called Alcar. One day, an elf named Jitaraj came from the western country and told the king to serve his empire and destroy the holy empire of Dramas. But king refused to serve, and after some time, many people from Alcar started dying from a disease, and the country's condition became even worse. And Gerard's family also got sick, and soon the king died from the disease too. Gerard tried hard to survive, but his country was destroyed and he almost died. And then he screamed, I want revenge for my nation. This wish keeps him alive in this world. Gerard attacks Kelvin, but Kelvin dodges easily. Gerard asks Kelvin, will you help me get revenge for my nation? Meanwhile, Clotho uses a dangerous beam attack. Gerard remembers his family, and the attack is very strong, making Gerard lose. The next day, Kelvin returns to the guild and says, I have killed the Black Ghost Knight. To prove it, he brings a fragment of Gerard, and everyone starts cheering because Kelvin defeated both the Black Ghost Knight and Cashel's whole team. And then we saw Cashel and his team are told by the guard, You will be punished for everything you have done, even with the death penalty. On the other side, Ange tells Kelvin, you are going to get a special rank and a special thanks from the guildmaster. As Kelvin is about to leave, a voice calls out, by the way, the girl you were talking to is very beautiful. Is she your girlfriend? This was Gerard's voice. And Melfina appears too and says, no, it's not true. I'm his fiancé. And after all this, Kelvin returns to the guild, and where he meets the guildmaster, Leo. To seeing him, Leo praises him and uses a skill to discover that Kelvin came from another world. And Kelvin is surprised that Leo knows everything. That who he is. Now they sit and drink tea. Leo tells Kelvin, Ange told me everything about you, and now I know you are a summoner. And hearing this, Kelvin getting angry, but Gerard calms him down and says, you can't hide your status forever. And then Kelvin asks Leo, you knew about Cashel and the others' crimes, so why didn't you stop them? Leo replies, Cashel is a noble, and we need proof before taking any action. I apologize for that. Kelvin says, that's fine, but tell me what you want from me. I don't want to be your enemy. I want to be your friend. I have met people from another world. Are there more like me here? Leo says, yes. They are all from the Holy Empire of Dramus. Hearing this, Melfina says, I know all of them. I was the one who reincarnated them. Then Leo tells a prophecy he heard from the priests of Dramus from God. The prophecy says the Demon King will revive soon. That's why heroes were summoned. Kelvin listens carefully and says, if the Demon King really comes back, even all the heroes together can't defeat him. Then Leo offers Kelvin some deals. If you help us, I will use my power to raise your rank, and if you want, you can take any quest. Kelvin feels a bit happy and agrees to help Leo. As soon as he comes back to the guild, Ange is very happy to see him, because he has been promoted to rank B. Now he is sitting in his room, eating comfortably, and at the same time he asks Melfina about the heroes he had summoned. She tells him that some time ago, the priests of the Holy Empire performed a ritual, after which Melfina reincarnated a good-looking boy and girl here. They must have reached a good level by now. Suddenly he remembers what Leo said about the Demon King's revival coming soon. Melfina tells him not to worry about anything. Then he lies down on his bed peacefully. The next morning he is happily going outside. Gerard asks him why he is so happy. He replies that today he is going to get a female slave. Gerard teases him, saying it seems like you also wants to do some naughty things. You have some ideas in your mind and even have grown up now. As they talk, they reach a street where many slaves are kept. Suddenly, Kelvin sees a man whose fire is put out by another man. Then the guy stands up and says this slave is a curse and he would never want to buy her. And then he leaves. Then Kelvin looks at the slave. She is a half-elf. Then he uses his skill. He finds out that she is under a fire dragon's curse. He asks Melfina what is needed to remove the curse from her. She says only a white magic user can remove it. After learning this, Kelvin leaves and leaves the elf alone. Then in the evening, the slave owner gets angry, saying he thought he would sell her for a high price, but she is not selling. Suddenly, Kelvin comes and offers to buy the slave. The owner warns him about the curse and says if he touches her, he will get burned. Kelvin tells him to stop talking nonsense and hands over the money. The girl is freed from the cage and steps out, seeing the sky for the first time. In the next scene, Kelvin is walking ahead, and the girl follows him. She stops him and thanks him for buying her. She says her name is Aphil. Then Kelvin introduces himself, and Aphil starts talking about her curse. But Kelvin ignores it and asks when she became a slave. She says she has been a slave as long as she can remember and was sold when she was little. She does not even know her parents. After hearing this, Kelvin uses his magic to remove the curse from Aphil. The magic works, and he tells her she will never have to suffer alone again. He touches her to prove it, and she becomes very happy and accepts him as her master. Then Kelvin returns to his room. Claire tells him she has prepared his food but looks weird seeing Aphil with him. She says if Aphil does not have good clothes, she will not let her eat there. She says this so that Aphil cleans up first. When Aphil is about to be touched by Claire, Claire picks her up and says, leave her to me. I will dress her well and bring her here. Meanwhile, Kelvin waits for Aphil. When Aphil comes back, Kelvin is shocked because she looks very good now. Claire says, hey fool, at least praise her. Kelvin says, yes, you look very nice. And Aphil gets shy. After they finish eating, Kelvin tells Aphil everything about himself. That he is a summoner and has Gerard. He asks her to keep it a secret. Now it's time to sleep, but they have only one bed. They try to sleep together on that bed. Later, we see them fighting a monster. Kelvin says Aphil has been with them for a month and has improved her skills a lot. Suddenly, Aphil uses her blaze arrow skill and easily defeats the monster. Kelvin is shocked that she can fight so well even in those clothes. They return to the guild where Ange tells them he has already passed his exam 9 times. If he passes this quest too, then he will soon reach rank A. However, Kelvin feels bad about Aphil's old opponent because she had defeated him easily. The next morning, Kelvin notices a couple and feels shy. Ange arrives and asks where Aphil is. She says she will take some time. As they talk, Aphil arrives there, and she was looking very beautiful. Kelvin is shocked and says, wow, you look amazing. Then they all go to a cake shop, and everyone is looking at them. They think Kelvin is dating the 2 girls. People joke, saying he will take them home. Suddenly, a man kicks their table and says, Commoners should not romance in such places. Kelvin asks, "Who are you?" Then a guard tells them he is Prince of Trison Dobra. Anja warns that he is dangerous. Dobra starts looking at the two girls in a bad way. He says, "If you give me these two girls, I will forgive for your crimes and let you go." As the guards start moving toward them, Kelvin uses his air pressure skill to throw them into the wall. Then he goes to the prince and attacks him with air pressure too. The prince begs, "Please let me go, I was just joking, it slipped out of my mouth." Then Kelvin tries to find out what the prince is doing there, but Prince doesn't tell him anything. Now, Kelvin increases his air pressure, which makes the prince fall down. The prince says he came here to meet Leo, but he doesn't know that Leo actually called him to meet Kelvin. Kelvin makes the guy's condition very bad. After this, we see Princess Dramus sitting in front of Melfina's statue, asking her to come out. Suddenly, Melfina appears. Together, they check the status of the heroes. Melfina says all the heroes are doing their job well. Then she tells the princess that she has felt a very evil presence in the Western continent, and all the heroes should be sent there. After this conversation, the heroes arrive here. When asked what's going on, they say, "Nothing." Then the scene changes, and we see Kelvin and Eiffel lying on the same bed who can't sleep. Eiffel thanks Kelvin for saving her life. Kelvin apologizes that they still have to sleep on the same bed, but he will talk about it with Claire tomorrow. Hearing this, Eiffel stands up and gives him a very dangerous and deadly look. She thanks him for saving her life and tells him she loves him. Kelvin is shocked and hugs her. The next morning, Kelvin checks the status of all the heroes. Melfina arrives and Kelvin says their levels are low. He thought their levels would be over 100. But they are weak. I am too disappointed with their performance, but I have improved my blacksmith skill and my staff is stronger now. Claire arrives and says the guildmaster is calling you. He goes to Leo, who tells him that some of our adventurers sensed a monster in a D-rank dungeon, maybe a demon. Kelvin is shocked and thinks demons are coming back. And he says, "I don't want your help, but the demon's power are dangerous, and this could be an S-rank quest." After taking all information about the demon, then Kelvin goes to the forest where he meets Erd, who says they placed a barrier around the area to monitor it. Kelvin arrives at a secret gate and asks Gerard to go inside first. They enter the cave, but don't see any monsters. Kelvin feels something is wrong, and they reached a big door. Then Kelvin senses two people inside, one a strong demon and the other a weak one. As they enter inside the door, they find a girl tied up. Seeing this, Kelvin is shocked. Suddenly, a man appears and says he is Archdemon Victor. Hearing this, Kelvin smiles. Victor asks why he is smiling, and Gerard says he's just showing off. Kelvin asks who the girl is. Victor says she is the daughter of the Demon King. Hearing this, Kelvin is shocked and realizes she is Demon King Gustav's daughter. And then he asks how that's possible, because Gustav didn't have a daughter. Victor says Gustav kept her a secret, and I am happy that you came here to fight him. Kelvin realizes that they are trapped. Victor says, "You are correct and only humans can break the seal." But he wants to eat Kelvin to absorb his powers. Victor attacks, but Gerard protects them with his shield, and he realizes that this is going to be too hard for them. Victor explains he has a dangerous skill called gluttony, which lets him copy the characteristics and powers of anyone he eats. Kelvin understands Victor wants to use human powers to break the seal and make the girl the new Demon King. And now Kelvin attacks with air pressure, but it doesn't work. Victor is an S-rank monster. Kelvin says he's never fought such a strong enemy and looks forward to the fight. Then Victor uses black magic to awake the demon army. Kelvin notices they are all B-rank monsters. And then he uses his wind shot and kills many monsters. With Gerard's help, they fight off the demon army. Then Kelvin asks Victor if he's scared. Victor says no, and he hits the ground hard, creating fog. Then Gerard says it's a smoke bomb. The Kelvin starts tracking him. Then he noticed that Victor is underground and preparing to attack them. Suddenly, Victor attacks Gerard, but Gerard blocks it. Seeing this, Victor shocked. Victor tries to attack Kelvin, but he misses. Victor pushes Gerard back and moves toward Kelvin to eat him. Then Kelvin calls Clotho, and Clotho saves him. Then Kelvin uses his Glory Century magic, and Victor got tied up with the chain, and Victor tries to break the magic chains with his power. Then Kelvin tells Gerard to attack Victor, and Kelvin uses his Vortex Edge Megan to make Gerard's sword more powerful. Then Kelvin notices Victor's tail, and Victor says he's won. But then Eiffel attacks Victor with her blaze arrow. Victor tries to stop the arrow with his hand, which burns badly, and Gerard takes advantage to cut off Victor's hand. Now all four are ready to fight with him. Kelvin asks if Victor will give up. Victor says no, and since Kelvin loves to fight, let's take this fight to another next level. And they continue. Victor screams and transforming into full form. They attack together at him, but nothing works. And his transformation completes. Kelvin tries to stop him, but Victor blocks his attacks easily while holding Gerard with his one hand. Victor hits Gerard hard, knocking him down, tries to finish him. Then Eiffel encourages Gerard not to give up. Hearing this, Gerard stands up again. And then they all launch a deadliest attack on Victor together. Victor thinks if he dodges the attack, it will hit the Demon King's daughter, so he must take it on himself. The attack hits Victor, and badly hurting him. Then Victor sees many stones falling on the Demon King's daughter, and he tries to stop them but gets crushed. He says, "Kelvin, you won." Kelvin is shocked to see Victor protecting the girl well. Victor says the Demon King trusted him 100 years ago and made him the guardian of his daughter. We see a flashback of Victor and the girl training. Victor says the Demon King hid his daughter so no one could misuse her powers. When heroes attacked their castle, the Demon King ordered Victor to protect her. The Demon King wanted no one to know about her, or both heroes and demons would chase her. Victor says they sealed her with a seal only humans can break. After hearing this, Kelvin says he can heal Victor and invites him to join his party. Victor says he only serves the Demon King and asks if Kelvin can bring Sarah into his party. And then Victor dies. After that, Kelvin goes to Sarah and breaks her seal. And now all of them come out with Sarah. And they also bring a fragment of a demon. They say that they have killed that demon. To hiding her identity, Sarah is using something like a hairband, so she doesn't look like a demon at all. In the next scene, we see Kelvin summoning Gerard, and he notices that Gerard has evolved and become a monster that can only be found in the S-rank dungeon. Meanwhile, Sarah is a bit hesitant to go to the town with everyone. Kelvin tells her not to worry because the people there are very nice, and she will like the town. So they all go to the town, and Sarah feels very happy. In the next scene, Kelvin comes out of the guild and gets promoted to rank A. When he enters in the inn, he is shocked to see everyone partying. There is a cooking competition happening between Claire and Eiffel. Everyone is happy because Kelvin got promoted to rank A, and they start celebrating. The scene changes and we see Kelvin is very happy, and his blacksmith skill has also reached S level, and using that skill, he makes a very powerful weapon for Sarah. Sarah is very happy when she sees it, and her armor is made from Victor's armor. Now, they all look at Gerard's sword, which looks very dangerous and powerful. Then Kelvin lies down on the cloth and starts relaxing. Then Sarah asks him what he wants to eat, and he says that he feels like eating rice. He remembers how good rice is. Then, they all get into their horse carriage and leave. Then Sarah tells Kelvin that she wants to do some fishing, but Kelvin says just wait until they reach Toraj. Then she can fish there. Then Kelvin tells everyone that they are going to the water country called Toraj, which is surrounded by water. On the way, Gerard asks where Melfina is. Kelvin says he can't summon Melfina, because last night Melfina appears and says that he can't summon her like that. But she has an avatar that looks like her, and she is going to get that avatar, and maybe Kelvin can summon that avatar. Later, suddenly a girl appears in front of their carriage with some goons, and they stop them. These goons are famous thieves called Black Wind. After seeing Sarah and Eiffel, they say if they catch Sarah and Eiffel, their boss will be very happy. The driver starts telling them that these thieves are very famous in this area, but Kelvin doesn't come out to fight because their level is less than 30. Then Sarah comes out to fight. The thieves think she is just a weak girl, but when one of them attacks her, she punches him so hard that he flies in the air. Then Sarah thinks she used too much powers on him. Seeing this, the thieves attack on her together, but she defeats them all easily. A strong guy comes and attacks her with a hammer, but she stops it with one hand. Kelvin is resting inside, reading a book. Sarah's level is 75, and even together, they can't defeat her. After that, Sarah ties up all the thieves. And then the thief girl says their boss's level is 70, and he can easily defeat Kelvin. The Kelvin asks her to tell him more about him. Next, they reach Toraj, and Kelvin notices that the whole town looks like Japan. They go to the Adventure Guild of Toraj. The guild master, Mist, praises Kelvin for catching a big leader of Black Wind. Kelvin listens quietly, and Mist says that Leo told her everything about Kelvin, but he doesn't know what that old man said or about me. Then Mist talks about Black Wind, saying that the party that once destroyed Black Wind has now joined them. And she tells them that a famous warrior named Kristoff, the guy who destroyed Black Wind first, now has joined them, and Black Wind kidnaps people for slave trading. Then Sarah asks why Mist doesn't stop them if she knows about this, because Kristoff is a national hero, and accusing him without proof can cause big trouble. And Kelvin is thinking that Kristoff level is 70, if his level was 20 higher, fighting would be more fun. And then feels something. And suddenly, Sarah uses her powers and finds out that heroes have entered Toraj. And in the next scene, we see the heroes entering Toraj and the guild. They find out the bandits' hideout is nearby. But one girl tries to stop Toya from staying and saying we should leave from here. But Toya insists they should stay and help people. That's part of their job. The heroes discuss whether they should help or not, and Mist was thinking about what Kelvin told her, and I have done the same. Then we see a flashback where Kelvin notices all heroes have entered town. Mist feels happy because if the heroes fight Black Wind, they won't have problems. And the next, we see Black Wind's hideout, where many slaves are kept, and 2 men guard the place. The guard named Hope is asked, "Are you going to do that work or not that boss told you?" Then Hope says, "Yes, I'm going, and that girl is going to do that work with me." But the girl's mother tries to stop him, but Hope starts forcing her, and suddenly, the door opens, and Kelvin and others enter the hideout. And Kelvin tells Gerard to finish the men. Then we see a girl getting angry at Kristoff because Karna's unit was defeated, and they both are Black Wind members. And the girl tells Ado to do something, but he refuses, saying he likes fighting strong guys. But Kristoff tells her to relax because Hope is handling everything. But suddenly, Hope comes there for the help and fell to the ground. And Kelvin and other come there too, and start attacking the bandits. Then Kristoff realizes Kelvin is the one who defeated Karna unit. Then he takes off his mask and says he is ready to fight Kelvin. But Kelvin says, "You are done, and I'm going to wash you like dirty plates." And we see that the heroes move forward but find no one on the path. Then Toya asks if someone can use their skill to check who is ahead, and the girl says many people are inside, and they enter a room full of slaves and they see Cloto. And Toya take out his sword to finish Cloto, but a small girl stops him, saying not to kill him because it's a pet of someone who saved their lives. And the girl's mother agrees with her daughter. Then Toya introduces himself as a hero, and all the slaves are happy to hear that. Then the girl named Nana tells them that this slime is here in order to protect everyone. Then Toya says, this slime is a servant, and they have a tamer like us, as rare. And then they go to fight Black Wind's boss, and as they enter the room, they find many people lying on the ground, and they think these are A-rank adventurers who arrived first. Then Toya looks and notices Kelvin and others are sitting there. To see Toya, Kelvin is smiling because he is excited to fight them. And with this, the first part of the anime ends here. Comment below if you want the next part.